Welcome to Virginia Currents. I'm Daphne Maxwell Reed. For people with memory loss disorders, conversations involving event dates and details can be frustrating and defeating. However, discussions involving art are based on opinions which can't be corrected and are instead confidence and engagement builders. That's why there's Eyes on Art, a program designed in partnership with the Arts Fusion Program of the Central and Western Virginia chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. Eyes on Art invites people with a diagnosis of memory loss and their caregivers to monthly tours of art exhibits and hands-on activities at UVA's Fralin Museum, where we joined a session last fall.
When you get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, it changes the person's life with the disease as well as the family members.
Oftentimes they withdraw from social situations once they've been diagnosed, and the art museums and arts organizations are a great way for them to come together and find something that they can do together and not be focused on the disease.
The goal for this program is just the engagement, right? That they should have positive interactions with each other and with us and participate and enjoy their time here.
Of artwork by Saul LeWitt. What do you think about it?
We always begin our tours with completely open-ended questions, like what do you see, what's going on here? And just use the art as a vehicle to engage the participants in conversation. And the conversation can go anywhere. It's going where?
Going to the edge of a cliff and fall over.
Going to the edge of a cliff and falling off? Like a lemon?
People with a diagnosis are first an individual.
What's that?
Variety of illumination.
Oh, Richard, you are so right on today.
Recognizing that what they're saying is a valuable contribution.
Coming from that side, it spreads out.
They're not being corrected or criticized, which is often the case for someone with memory loss. Sometimes you have to allow more time for a response. It may take longer for them to process the question and then process the answer. And for some people that can make them very nervous and they'll fill in the space, but then that defeats encouraging the person to talk.
And he was just working within that space.
Art's about opinions too. So all of that can be accepted.
What do you think of it, Evan?
I don't know. I don't like that one.
You don't like this one.
It's really static.
It's really static?
And we laugh a lot.
A lot.
A whole lot. And I think everybody knows how beneficial laughter is.
But I think you're really right. They all look like they're like frozen.
I think it's a safe space. And so I think in terms of, answering questions from the docent, no one is afraid to say what they think.
It's really fun. I like it.
And they, we'd look at something different every month, and so we really get exposed to
All different kinds of art.
all different kinds of art. It's like a tutoring session with the art.
It's a 5-foot diameter circle. And it was done in 5 days by 5 people. All 5 people used number 5 pencils. And each person drew 5,000 lines, 5 inches long.
It sort of expands your experience as you try and look at new things and see how you react and other people react. Well, was a chemist, and I'm more of a scientist type and not an artistic type, but I enjoy it. But I got a lot to learn.
And then I like when they do the hands-on part.
When I design a hands-on program, I try to design one that incorporates some of what we've talked about in terms of how the artist works. I've made a grid on a piece of paper with 1-foot squares. I'm going to number the squares and I'm going to assign a number to each person. And they're going to have to go around and find all of the squares that have their number in it and fill in their set of lines.
Oops.
Well, that was mine.
It's a collaborative event. And I think that's really important too, that for someone not to feel like they're stigmatized or they're ostracized, that they can be a part of a group.
Does it help reconnect you?
I think it does.
Yeah.
We had lunch today. We had lunch together today. We used to go to Museum of Modern Art in New York, And we also went to the Metropolitan Museum in New York.
Is it an interesting dynamic to kind of switch roles?
I don't have my own children, and so when more care was needed, I just felt like this is the time to do this.
She jumped in.
And the time to play that role. And I think, you know, day by day, just day by day. It's a challenge.
She loves me anyway.
I do. I do.
Of course. There's nothing like the mother-daughter bond.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had her.
She wasn't so glad when I was an infant, though.
No, you were a nasty little girl.
And now I'm just a bright ray of sunshine.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
She got over the nasty phase.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wouldn't trade it for anything. Despite the challenges, it's been a gift to be able to spend this much time with her and do these kinds of things with her. And
I enjoy it too.
yeah, we have our special dates.
Yes, we do.
And as a caregiver, it's nice to go someplace where you're not in charge, where you can just sit and be part of the crowd as well. You know, where people, you know that everything's going to be taken care of and looked after. And
You just assume everybody else is the same as you are, I think. At least that's the way I am. And I cope with what I have and don't worry about what I don't have. If you have a short-term memory loss, you've already forgotten it, you know. So the problems are all gone. And if you're enjoying life, you just take the part, remember the part you enjoy and forget the other part.
Yeah, that's why I say it's really easy on him generally. Yeah. It's not as easy on me because I need to remember everything he should have remembered, plus everything I need to remember and make sure all of that happens. And so that makes more stress on the person who doesn't have the illness. And I think some of the hardest times is when Richard forgot some really key things from our past that were really important things. And when I find one of those would happen, I would grieve and then go on. Say, okay, you know, the big phrase nowadays is you live with the new normal. And I don't focus on the things we don't have, but I focus on the things that we still do have. When Richard first started forgetting things, I would just get so devastated every time he'd forget something, some new category of forgetfulness, and I would just fall apart. And eventually, you've forgotten so much, it doesn't matter anymore.
That's what I'm saying, that actually it's easier for me.
Yeah, but even for me, I'm kind of like, okay, we're at this point, that's okay. And I see a lot of other people whose loved one has advanced much further. And so now I'm just so thankful for where we are and that we haven't gone that other step yet. And when I hit that, I'll grieve again, I know that. And then say, okay, how do I live in that new normal? And what do I have to do? What do I have to change?
I think our mind fills in the pieces.
I always recommend people to try something like this, because I think it will enrich their lives and open new doors that maybe they never walked through before. And you don't feel alone then. You know that there are other people in the same situation, and you encourage one another and care for one another.
Life is to be enjoyed, so you get out there and enjoy it. You don't roll up your sleeves, you just dive in.
For more information, go to alz.org/CWVA and then click on the Arts Fusion Program icon.